So let's take a closer look at one of the upcoming MBTs for the British top tier. That is the Challenger 2 Black Knight. That's right, this vehicle is finally here in War Thunder, but is it going to be all that it is hyped up to be? Well, let's go ahead and talk about that just for a little bit. So a bit of a disclaimer before I go ahead and get started. Everything I will be talking about, everything you're going to be seeing is going to be taken with a grain of salt, or it must be, because this is the dev server. As you can see right here, I have 4 million golden eagles. Gaijin won't let me have that in the real server, and I'm very sad by that. But the jokes aside, this is the dev server, so everything is subject to change. From what I'm telling you right now, it might be completely different in the next dev server, and even more so in the live server. So, yeah, now that that is out of the way, let's talk a little bit about this. Now, a little bit of real-world stats about this vehicle. This is a demonstrator vehicle showcasing from BAE Systems, brand new fire control system, better optics, better power pack, I believe it was. It has the same engine, same armor, etc., but it has much better capabilities such as the Hunter Killer. You do have a Commander Independent Thermal Viewer, which is very nice. Generation 3 thermal sights, at least from what I can tell. I mean, I can't find all the official information because there's so much of it out there, and a lot of it does like to say a lot of different things, so I'm just basing off the very basics, if that makes sense. But aside from that, everything here is pretty much the exact same as you'll find with the previous Challenger 2s. Except, of course, this does have an active protection system, which does work incredibly well. I did spend some time today with a couple of friends, as well as on my own time, to test out the capabilities, and this thing works incredibly well, although I don't expect it to be this good when the actual server drops. I mean, I was stopping missiles directly above the tank. Okay, I don't think this thing has enough of an arc to be able to stop things from directly above you. And the increase in thermal sights, as well as their capabilities, is incredibly nice. I mean, again, you now have Generation 3 thermal sights for both the gunner as well as the commander, which is something that has been very much needed in War Thunder, especially when it comes to the top tier British lineups, because in truth, not many people like to play top tier British vehicles. And trust me when I say that, I play a lot of top tier, and I rarely ever get to see these types of vehicles out in full. But aside from that, everything you have come to know and everything you have come to love about the Challenger 2s exist here. Although, this is kind of a dumbed down version of the existing Challenger 2s. Now, I know they may sound a little bit insulting, but hear me out, okay? As you can see in this vehicle, it's missing a bunch of things. Now, will this be changed up in the future? I have no idea. Maybe we'll get the Dorchester armor package. Maybe we won't. I have no idea. But for the most part, this is basically just the original Challenger 2. No armor on the lower plate. That's probably one of the biggest things you'll see right here. This is a 70mm plate. And trust me when I say, this is something that even I think BMP2 cannons can kind of go through. Not really in well, with precision or in detail, but it can go right through the lower glacis without too much issue. I believe even a T-34-85 can go through the bottom of here and one-tap you, which is unfortunate because this being a British vehicle, as you can see, ammunition all over the place. And you also have targeting speed, 11 degrees a second. Vertical targeting, I mean, is 11. Targeting speed normally is 31 for the turret, which is very nice. Also, the active protection system is modeled in-game, which means that there might be a chance that players, at least smart ones, are going to be shooting at these, disabling them, which basically destroys your active protection system capabilities. So a little bit more about the inside of the vehicle. The engine pack is unfortunately the same. Yeah, there's really nothing different about it. You will still get the same 59 kilometers an hour. It is a significantly lighter vehicle than you would find with a TES at the same BR. Of course, the trade-off is you don't have much protection, but thankfully, you do lose one of those radio, I believe, receivers or antennas in favor for, I guess, a bigger commander's sight. Now, the biggest downside about having this gigantic commander's sight is fragmentation rounds. Now, normally Challenger 2s are very difficult to kill and overpressure with anything pretty much when it comes to the top of a vehicle. You have to be exceedingly lucky, at least in my experience, to be able to kill these vehicles in a single hit with fragmentation. Now that you have something like this, which is gigantic, I kind of get that feeling that it's going to be more like the M60s with a giant commander's cupola, which means that if you get it shot at, you're going to lose some, if not all, of your crew. But aside from that, having a Generation 3 commander sight with this thing is not bad at all if you kind of look at it in detail. So going into the modules of the Black Knight, you'll see a couple of things that did change. In fact, just one thing, which is it does get a laser warning system as well as a laser rangefinder combined as a tier 4 modification. So yes, this vehicle does now get a laser warning system, which is very nice. Now, a lot of players at top tier, including myself, like to use the laser rangefinder almost religiously for every shot that I take. I'll be clicking it 3 or 4 more times just to get that 100% accuracy in there. And this vehicle will see it from significant distances, which basically means that, hey, someone's lasing you, pull back a little bit, wait for them to kind of adjust a little bit or adjust yourself, move up, engage, and so on and so forth. Not too many vehicles at top tier have this capability, at least not yet. Aside from that, going back into the module system, it's the same. L27A1 APFSDS. It's nothing special. It's a good round. It'll get the job done. L26 as a, I believe, a tier 1 modification, and then the stock round happens to be the L23A1, which is in itself not terrible, especially at top tier. Would you rather have a heat round, a hesh round, or would you rather have a decently good dart for top tier? Just saying. At least when it comes to the stock round for the most part. But aside from that, that's it. That's the only difference. Gen 3 thermal sight, CITV, laser warning system, laser rangefinder combined. And that's honestly really it. There's nothing different about this vehicle compared to, say, the Challenger 2 TES, the 2F, and then the existing Chalet 2. But what this does is it does introduce a larger lineup for the British top tier, which is very nice. So now you have 4 Challenger 2s, you have a Vickers Mark 7, the Challenger Mark 2, and the Mark 3, which, believe it or not, are slightly capable at the 11.0 game. So Britain top tier is starting to look like a very nice endgame lineup. Not as comparable as to, say, the Russians or, say, the Americans and Germans, but they're damn well getting pretty close to it. Now, on to my opinions and my thoughts, and this is where I'm going to kind of be quote-unquote off script. I don't have a script for this kind of stuff, but just more from my own words. Challenger tanks in War Thunder aren't exactly the best. I know a lot of you guys like to say, like, oh, I love it, you just don't know how to play it, blah. And you're right. I don't like to play it the way most of you do. I'm a very aggressive player. I like to take out my Abrams, I like to take out my Leopard, T80 PVM, and I just like to just hold W and go right into the fight. This vehicle is just not capable of doing that. But one of the biggest weaknesses this vehicle did suffer from, which is helicopters, KA-50s, KA-52s, AH-64s, etc. They used to hammer this thing into submission, especially those MiG-27Ks. And now that you have a system that is able to defeat that, I think this kind of changes up the gameplay just a little bit, because although chemical munitions aren't as frequent as you would find in the lower tiers, they're still very deadly against this vehicle, although the biggest trade-off is less armor. The Dorchester armor package really did make it slightly survivable, but when it comes to this right here, you are really going to have to focus on your gameplay, especially when you want to be very aggressive, and having the capability of doing so now because you have that added extra protection, although this really remains to be seen in War Thunder, because right now, this is brand new. This is day 1 of the dev server, so of course the APS is going to function incredibly well. So as time moves on, as the game progresses into the next dev server and into the live server, I can wholeheartedly see this being, well, pretty well nerfed, unfortunately. But that's really it when it comes to my own personal opinions and overview of the Challenger 2 Black Knight. I will have an official gameplay video doing my normal format with maybe a cinematic at the beginning when this vehicle drops in the live server, and I can go ahead and give you guys my complete concrete opinion on what I think about the Challenger 2 Black Knight. And so this is where I want to hear from you. What do you think about it? Is it a worthwhile addition? Is it not? Is it a vehicle that you just don't care about? Or maybe because it has something that may even be considered gimmicky, the APS, maybe it changes your opinion on it. Feel free to let me know exactly what you guys think. I know only 8% of you guys actually make it to this part of the video, so thank you so much for that, guys. And I still want to know what you think. And that's it. Now, if you guys happen to have enjoyed my little quote-unquote talking head video and you want to see more of these, at least in a live fashion, come join my streams over on Twitch. Link is always down in the description below. If you want to support the channel and you want to maybe buy that A10, use my 3% discount link. It's down below in the description as well. It supports me. You get 3% off and you get my in-game decal. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for checking this out. I am not making any more videos today. Oh man, I'll tell you what, there's some creators out there that can do this 24/7, 4, 5, 6 videos a day. I have no idea how they can do that. Okay, 2 is enough for me alongside a stream. Oh boy. So again, I'll see you guys not only in the next video or even the streams, but in War Thunder itself. Until next time, I guess good night. Oh, sorry about that.